Hello everybody, it is me, Alistair here, and welcome back to another video. This will be the first installment of All You Need to Know, a prequel series to all my OCs that I will be doing. All You Need to Know is going to be a recap of what you need to know about the universe, and then you can watch my All About My OCs. I'm doing these videos before my All About My OC just so you guys can understand and have more context. And so I have more time to talk about my characters. Okay, so the first installment is going to be pretty obvious. It's about Ponyverse, the main thing about my channel, or one of the main things. Okay, so now let's start. So our story starts off with Queen Galaxia, Celestia and Luna's mom. Now, Queen Galaxia held 4 elements, which is very unusual, but for her, since she's so powerful, it really wasn't. Elements that she held were the sun, the moon, clouds, and darkness, which are just elements combined together. Now, she realized that when she passes away, that she would need to entrust her daughters with elements, obviously, but she also realized she didn't want to give each of them 2 because it was already a burden enough to have 4. So, she adopted a daughter named Claudia and took in a young boy named Sombra. Together, she taught all of them all she knew about each element and what they were supposed to do and their role and stuff. Now, she was kind of controlling when it came to this, giving all of them a ton of issues. Now, Claudia and Sombra kind of, fell in love and were kind of romantic teens. Celestia kind of not really liking this. Eventually, sadly, Galaxia passed away, and each of them were given her elements upon her passing. Now, if you know Sombra's backstory, you kind of know what happens next. He becomes evil. Now, in the world of Ponyverse, there are these things called seal spells. What seal spells are, they're pretty much, you can seal anybody in an area, but you cannot go through that area. Now, Celestia, Luna, Twilight, and Cadence locked him up in a big mountain. Now, Claudia didn't do this because, it was her lover. And eventually, Celestia was so fed up with Claudia's love for Sombra in a twisted way, wanting to protect her sister, she locked Claudia up in this cell dungeon thing for like a year. Now, eventually, with enough begging by Luna and pretty much everybody, Celestia let her sister go. Now, the day Claudia was free, there was like this big party festival thing to celebrate, just in general. Claudia looked very happy, even though she clearly wasn't. After the party, she wrote a note in her room and went up to the mountain to live with Sombra. Now, after finding the note, Celestia obviously was mad and sad and everything, sending a bunch of guards up there, eventually, getting killed. Now, when Claudia first went up into the mountain, Sombra was kind of just like, I don't trust you, but after talking for a while, he realized that she was, being honest. Claudia lived in the mountain for a year, eventually having our main character, Pinkerose. Realizing Celestia will stop at nothing, and if he came back, she would probably be killed and Pinkerose would be taken away, Claudia and Sombra basically decided, hey, if we both give our elements up, which by that I mean they turn into their elements, and send Pinkerose back to Celestia, Pinkerose would probably have a better life, which they did do, becoming the embodiment of darkness and the embodiment of clouds. Pinkerose being sent down to the castle where Celestia and Luna lived. The note that Celestia automatically thought was written by Claudia. Now, at the time, Celestia wasn't able to deal with, Pinkerose existing, so Celestia just dumped Pinkerose on Twilight having to raise Pinky. Now, Twilight did a pretty decent job at raising Pinky, teaching Pinky some new stuff and basic things, but Celestia pretty much controlled Twilight and therefore controlled Pinky. Pinky having to go through many needle experiments, just experiments in general, because Pinky was an anomaly, giving Pinky a very bad fear of needles and tests like that in general. Now, one day when Pinkerose was still young, they were outside, being a little kid, doing kid things and using magic, looking at the sun when it was, sunset and the moon was about to come up. Now, Pinky, being a mischievous kid, was, playing around and doing magic, near the sun, chucking things at it from Earth and, stuff like that. Or trying at least. Eventually, they made a lunar eclipse, which only Celestia and Luna were able to do at the time, this giving Pinky their cutie mark. But sadly, this didn't stop them from being taken away to training. See, whenever elementals are old enough, they are taken away from their parents and put into training. Now, sometimes they do stay with their parents and be raised by parents, but most of the time they're put in special training care, while they're raised by a caretaker that is trained to take care of elementals. They're just very strong and powerful. One day while Celestia was teaching Pinky Rose magic, Pinky got angry and created a portal. This portal let out Rose. Now Rose literally just being cut in half. And being in a floating abyss for years, to him at least, he was scared and angry. Twilight trying to help him, but he broke her leg. Now Rose not having a clear mindset about anything started doing his own Rose things again, kind of causing chaos. With Twilight down and the rest of the main six not being able to fight, guards had to be sent, both Saiyan and Pony. But nothing worked to take him down. Pinky Rose not wanting to get involved because they thought of what Celestia would say. Eventually, after Scootaloo got hurt though, Pinky couldn't hold it back. Started fist fighting Rose using her powers of darkness, and Rose using Q-Bass. Eventually, Pinky Rose managed to get Rose on the ground. Rose thinking he was gonna waste his second chance and die right there. Instead of being harsh and cruel, Pinky extended a hand to Rose. The society is made up of ponies and Saiyans mostly, obviously having other magical creatures. The Cutie Mark Crusaders and Pinky Rose are all technically cousins, because before being adopted, Claudia had a bunch of siblings, all sharing common family members. After Pinky Rose beat Rose, those with cheese sandwich and fish stick, them being husband. This universe, Pinky still kills people to make food. Her and Rainbow Dash have 2 children. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Trying to reach my goal of getting 100 subscribers by the end of the year. And my next video in this series will be all about my OCs, the first one being Pinky Rose. Anyways, make sure to follow me on Twitter. Goodbye.